good evening to everyone that are here to watch today's episode of Virtual Speaker Corner. My name is Medayun Ovia Nadapi and I will be your moderator for this episode. Before we start, I would like to introduce our panel. His name is Pang Jun Wye, a second-year student of Bachelor of Science in Agribisness. His topic will be how soil supply plant nutrient. Without further ado, I would like to invite him to start his sharing.
Thank you, moderator. I will share my screen now to share my knowledge about the topic that I would like to share with you, all of you. All right. So my name is Pang Jun Wye, and today I would like to share about how soil supply plant nutrients. Right. So as we know, in agriculture world, soil is the most common and essential among everybody, um, because soil is like a mother base, which is a very basic that um, that we really need to plant anything such as plant vegetables or plant anything that related with agriculture in order to increase the growth of the production for the importance of the economy of the country, of the particular country. So let me brief you simple of what is soil. Soil is the unconsolidated cover on the surface of the earth. And actually, soil is made up of mineral particles, organic particles, air, and water. And the interesting part of soil is that the soil is actually capable of supporting plant growth, which is plant growth is actually really need soil as a supporter to help them grow healthy and strong for a consistent long period. All right, so I will move to the next slide. All right, the first thing that I would like to share is about the soil colors range, which soil is actually divided into several colors. The most common is soil colors will be divided into common browns, yellows, reds, grays, whites, and blacks. So this is the picture that I provided is the example of the soil that has multiple colors. And so the next slide. All right. So this is what you will be you'll be exposed about soils, which is the most crucial, the most basic part is soil horizons. And soil horizons is actually divided into 4 layers. So the first one is the most basic, the most upper part is horizon O. This horizon O is actually containing a high percentage of soil organic matter. Why is it horizon O contains a lot of high percentage of soil organic matter? Is because O horizon is located at the most upper part where the rain during the raining weather and sunny weather, which sunny and rainy will provide the organic matter which provide as a nutrient for the O horizon. So that's why, as you all can see, the O horizon, the part of here will be like a bit darker color, which is the darker color shows that it is fully high. It is provided with high percentage of soil organic matter. All right, let's move to the next horizon, which is horizon A. Horizon A often darkened by the accumulation of organic matter. So horizon A is actually the color is actually dark as well, but it's not as dark as O horizon. So how does this soil on horizon A actually can be that dark? Is because it transported from the O horizon. So here is O horizon. So O horizon, when it's raining, the water will drain to the A horizon. So it will become when it has been for several days, it will become dark like this, but it is much more lighter than the O horizon. And as we know, actually A horizon is actually consists of many, quite a huge amount of organic matter as well. All right, so proceed to the next horizon is horizon B, is known as subsoil, and horizon C is partially weathered parent material which minimally affected or unaffected by the soil formation processes. So C horizon is partially weathered parent material which is not fully combined by the weathered parent material. It is only half. And then the last horizon is bedrock, which is the where you can see there will be at the soil, the bottom of the soil will be a lot of pebbles or bedrock. That is why we call it as bedrock. Okay. Right. Next is the functions of agricultural soils. Uh, Agricultural soils actually contribute a lot of um, functions to our plant growth, but I only minimize into five points, five functions, but it's actually a lot. So first of all, first of the function is anchor plant roots. What does it mean, anchor plant roots? Anchor plant roots means that soil is actually capable to absorb water and nutrients from the soil. And there is a concept about where the more root area a plant has, the more water and nutrients it can absorb. And furthermore, some plants, some of the plant's roots, they it also has a capable to serve as a storage area for their food. So uh, so the plant roots is actually playing a very crucial role, important role to help plant to gain their nutrients, to gain their food, um, to gain more nutrients for them to keep on growing and growing and become more healthy. All right. So the second function is supply water to plant roots, which we know as during raining weather. Usually during raining weather, plant roots actually has the ability to supply water to plant roots for them to keep hydrated and so that they will have enough sufficient water to keep them grow for a longer time. And agricultural soils also provide air for plant roots because soils, as we know, soils is being exposed to the environment area, which they will collect a lot of air for providing to the plant roots as to carry out photosynthesis and to carry out the to help them grow more quicker and more healthier. And the fourth is furnish nutrients for plant growth. Okay, what is furnish nutrients for plant growth is okay, I explain in a simple way, which is it explains that the breakdown of soil minerals occur when chemical reactions break down the rocks and primary minerals into soil. So uh, nutrients when the soil minerals has been break down, it will become a nutrients for the plant growth to obtain the nutrients for them to keep growing healthier, so that they can get sufficient nutrients to grow healthier and much better. Okay, and last is release water with low levels of nutrients. Okay, next. Right. Next is I will be sharing about the soil components, which divided into four parts of soil. Okay, the first is it consists of mineral matter 45%, which is mineral matter can be known as solid particles, which is about one and a half. Half of the soil volume is solid particles, which consists of rock, and then clay, and any other that is solid particles. And then uh, soil also consists of air, which is 25%, because soil is, as I said earlier, which is soil is exposed to the environment area, which is exposure area that has many air. And it is known that about half of the soil volume is pore space. So the soil actually, if you look into detail, the soil is actually has a tiny, several tiny pore spaces for them to obtain the air, in order to help the plant growth to get air and water for them to grow much more better. Okay, and soil. Therefore, soil also contain water, which is 25%, and organic matter about 5%. Okay, soil texture. Soil texture consists of three types, which is sand, silt, and clay particles. So let me tell you about sand. About let me explain more about sand, which is sand is usually it is in a coarse texture, also known as loose, which is more sand, less clay. As you can see the picture that I've given, it is the the sand is actually, if we look in uh carefully, the sand, the texture of the sand doesn't have clay. It is only consists of a little clay and more sand. The next is silt, which is the texture will be fine and heavy, because it has the clay has the silt has consists of the percentage of water, which brings the 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 weight of the silt a bit heavier. So the silt is kind of like uh, the form of the silt will be similar to the clay, because silt is usually because silt has been combined with the water, so it will become silt. Unlike sand, sand is because sand doesn't mix with water, so that's why it is in a sandy texture, sandy form. Okay, the last is the clay, in the clay form. Clay texture will be loamy. As you can see, is like a small pieces clay, and clay is actually is a mixture between sand, silt, and clay. Okay, all right. So supplying plant nutrients, there are two different plant nutrients, which I guess this everyone knows about it, which is everyone has come across about it, which is macronutrients and micronutrients. Right, the first macronutrients, macro means needed in large amounts, which is a plant which compulsory need macronutrients, all of these macronutrients in a large amounts, which is the plant has to have in a large amounts. It can't be minimized into small amounts. So these are the examples of macronutrients. The first is nitrogen, basic, phosphorus, potassium, calcium, magnesium, and sulfur. Whereas micronutrients, we have already know, which is micro means small. So that's why it is known as micronutrients is needed in small amounts for the plants. So micronutrients have several examples, which is chlorine, cobalt, copper, iron, manganese, molybdenum, nickel, and zinc. Right? So proceed to the next slide. So where do plant nutrients come from? Uh, many of us always wondering, actually the nutrients, how do the plant obtain from? So let me give you a few examples. Where do plant nutrients come from is the first is decaying plant litter, where we usually uh, litter our things, such as like the dead plants and other agriculture that is decayed. So being processed decaying, which we know the process is called decomposing. Decomposing is a process where the dead things, dead living things, when it become decomposed, it is actually transformed into a nutrient, uh, a nutrient that a nutrient that a plant can obtain for them uh, to get a much better growth, for them to grow plant healthy. And the next is breakdown of soil minerals, which is the earlier about the soil minerals, which is organic matter. Organic matter. First is organic matter, where we get from the raining, sunny, and when the raining and the sunny falls on the soil, in for several days, it will break into soil minerals, which the soil minerals is actually really important, for them, for the plant to grow, because soil minerals consist of many important crucial minerals for them to for their growth. And not only the soil minerals and plant litter, actually humans do contribute the plant nutrients for the plant growth as well, such as commercial fertilizer. Fertilizer is actually very important for the growth, for any growth. Manure, which is the animals, they are unwanted. I mean, manure is like when the animals eat and then they they came up with a manure. Lime is the minerals as well, and others, right? Okay, so I specifically talk about humans that contribute nutrient additions, which is the first commercial fertilizers. Commercial fertilizers is actually nutrients are in a form that is available to plants, which they came out with a fertilizer that is uh, particularly for the plants, for them to obtain much more nutrients. Because why humans need to invent or produce commercial fertilizers? Because some of the countries, like the deserted countries, like in Arab, somewhere in Arab, which is will be in a very really hot weather in a in a long period, there will be no enough water, and it will be very un always in a dry weather. So if a plant lives in there, it will be very difficult for the plant to grow their plant, because plant need a lot of water, percentage of water as well. So by producing commercial fertilizer, it is actually can be contribute nutrients for the plant growth. So as we know, commercial fertilizers is actually dissolved quickly, and nutrients that can be uh, transferred, that can be moved into the soil water. Okay, the next is lime. Lime is actually it can be release calcium and magnesium, and it dissolves so slowly as it neutralizes soil acidity, because lime the pH value for lime is actually in a acidic value, and so that is why lime is dissolves slowly, because when the lime is in acidic level, it actually will damage the plant growth, because plant growth is actually cannot deal with the acidity that is very high. It's high acidity, so this will become a serious problem for the plant growth. That is why the lime dissolves slowly. Okay, the next is organic nutrient sources, which I have mentioned earlier, the previous slide, which is consists of manure, compost, sewage sludge, and decomposition. This actually is very important and healthy um, healthy organic nutrient sources for the plant to grow, because these sources do not have chemical uh, any chemical things that can damage the plant growth. Okay, next is absorption. So absorption is something that an ability of an object to attract and hold particles on its surface. So solid particles in soil have the ability to absorb the water, nutrients, and other chemicals. So the most important absorbers in soil are divided into two, which is clays and organic matter. So what role does this absorption do for the plant in the soil? So absorption, let me give you an example. When it's raining and the water percentage is very high and the plant growth need it. So absorption will be playing a role which it absorbs the water, the organic matter, and make it as a nutrient, a crucial nutrient for the plant growth, for them to grow their to grow much more quicker, to grow more healthier. So this is the the concept of absorption is really important, and it is compulsory to have in order to make the plant growth much more successful and much more better. All right. Last but not least is the conclusion of the topic. So as we know in the uh, from the overall of the slides that I have explained, so we know that soil consists of mineral and organic matter, air and water, which I I have explained the soil horizons, with divided into horizons, which is O, A, B, C, and R. And soils also able to absorb nutrients and other chemicals, just like the previous slide about the absorption, which able to absorb the water and the nutrients for the plant growth. And the most important absorbers we must know is either clay or organic matter. Okay, absorbed nutrients are available to plants. And last lastly is absorbed nutrients are not prone to loss in drainage water. So that's all from me. Thank you.
All right. Thank you to our panel, Pang Jun Wye, for that wonderful share of knowledge and also for his time and effort to deliver this topic. I hope everyone managed to acquire some new knowledge on soil science, which is how soil supply plant nutrients. And I am very grateful for all of you for taking some time out of your busy schedule to watch this episode 36 of Virtual Speaker Corner. Therefore, I will end this episode with our tagline, Pertanian Tunjang Kehidupan. See you again next week